Hello everybody, Josh12 back on the TV couch to talk all things The Flash. Yes, I'm here with my official review for The Flash Season 3, Episode 2, titled Paradox. And of course, if you haven't seen the latest episode of The Flash, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode of CW's The Flash. Now, overall, The Flash has come back to the timeline, and he has reached a point where he has pretty much fucked everything. But in my personal opinion, I feel like everything that The Flash has done really has nothing of importance, I have to say. Realistically, the major problems that we find in this new timeline Barry's created post-Flashpoint is really kind of just like minimal little like obscure problems that are very fixable. We find out that Iris and Joe in this new timeline don't talk to each other. Apparently back in Season 2, for those of you who don't know, when the Wally West character is brought in and, freaking Iris's mother kind of came in and died, apparently they split ways between Iris and Joe because of the secrets Joe had between that whole debacle. And at the end of the day, that's really just not important. It was something that was so fixable. By the end of the episode, you're pretty much like, okay, finally you fucking did this. And then you have the Cisco Ramon thing. And Cisco Ramon, based off the teasers and promos we got for the latest episode, I was kind of hoping for something really extreme, you know, like he's doing group therapy. Like, what happened? Was he raped? Is he a drug addict? Like, something crazy. Like, something that this show should have done. Basically what I was hoping for is what they should have done with Arrow when, you know, they had the Roy Harper debacle, or even with Thea. There were so many possibilities you could have gone with those characters and the crazy antics they did in both Season 1 and 2, that I was kind of hoping they would do the same thing with Cisco in Season 3. But they don't. Apparently in this new timeline, Cisco's brother Dante dies, and Cisco holds that against Barry. And once again, look, yeah, it sucks. These changes suck. They really do. I mean, Iris and Joe work so well together. To have them separate and not talking does suck. But at the end of the day, it's very fixable. Cisco losing his brother sucks. It always sucks to lose someone you love. In general, you never get over it. But I feel like in the surface, Cisco could really move on from that. And to have that against Barry in this episode, I felt was hands down the worst thing that this episode did. Cisco Ramon is great at what he does, which is being the comedic relief. And when he's not playing that character, he's really irrelevant, at least in my opinion, because I'm not interested in seeing the crazy, depressing antics of the character when he's not coming up with cool nicknames for villains. You know, and that's what they kind of went for in this episode, and I wasn't a big fan of that. Same thing goes for Iris and Joe. Granted, once Barry comes clean of what he's done in the past to create Flashpoint, it's good. The episode starts to gel back together, and everything's understandable. But of course, with that being said, there's a whole bunch of other weird things that have also been changed because of what Barry did outside of just Joe, Iris, and Cisco. Number one, the whole Caitlin Snow thing. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but I feel like it could be a really cool plot device they can do in the future episodes, which is Caitlin Snow has her Killer Frost powers in this timeline. It's not Earth 2 Caitlin Snow. This is Earth 1 proper Caitlin Snow. So this is something that I've kind of been wanting since Season 1, which is let her stay a good person. Let her continue to be a part of Team Flash, but give her her powers. I just feel like it would be cool to have that dichotomy, and they're finally doing it, and I think let's just see how it goes. Let's ride it out and see how it goes. I just am very interested on that front. Moving off of that, we have the Arrow cameos, and Felicity, to be honest, she kind of goes along with my negatives, along with Iris, Joe, and Cisco debacle. I feel like Felicity, I don't know what it is, but her character has been so degraded, not degraded, but degraded, rather, from what I feel like her character should be post-Season 2 of Arrow, that, I don't know, at this point in time, like, every time I see her, I just don't care anymore. I don't know why that is, but her character just means nothing to me anymore. I mean, like, yeah, it's still good to tune in on these fucking programs and be like, oh, Emily, she knows how to fill out those fucking dresses. I'll tell you, fucking those CW costume designers, they get her some good shit to wear. But come on, her character really didn't add anything. But I will admit, it was cool to see some changes that Flashpoint does with Arrowverse, because I think the big discussion with Flashpoint Season 3 was that a lot of fans had, which is what is going to happen that changes Arrow. And apparently, there's not really anything drastic that changes to Arrow and Flash. The only thing that seems to be drastically changed is that Diggle's daughter is now his son. And like apparently the canon that we thought was canon in Earth 1 timeline, back when spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow, but back in Legends of Tomorrow Season 1, we went to Star City in the future. And in that future, John Diggle Jr. was the new Green Arrow. And he's the son of John Diggle. Apparently, that isn't because he's the second child of John Diggle. It's apparently because Barry changed the timeline to make John's daughter a son. So, I don't know if that was the original plan back when they were doing Flash Season 2, Arrow Season 4, and Legends Season 1, but it's kind of interesting how that played out. I'm not really a big fan of that. I feel like they could have had both, but whatever. It is what it is, and hopefully whatever happens in the future timeline of Arrowverse stays intact, because I still would love to see in future seasons how that plays out. You know, like the future son of Deathstroke comes in, you know, and all this craziness happens. I'd like to see that go down in a future Arrow season, so I guess it's kind of good that they did this, but it's just weird how they now have made it the new canon. But whatever, it is what it is. Time travel is going to happen, and things will get fucked up. Moving off of any of that, the positives. The big positives, the acting. The performances in this episode are so freaking solid. I mean, like, granted, with these kind of TV shows, you will not get the same kind of experience you will when watching other kinds of TV shows, or even movies especially, but Grant Gustin killed it. He is so consistent as Barry Allen, it's not even funny. Iris West, Candace continues to kill it, and I love her. Freaking, you know, everybody else, you know, Cisco, Caitlin, Joe, Wally, every single other actor played it well. They were really good. And the cinematics were really great. I loved how the show is really, I guess, filming the show, it just looks so good the way they're directing it. It just looks very professional. We're not back in season 1 where everything feels kind of new. We're in the show, it's finally seasoned, and it feels very just professional. It doesn't feel like a TV show, it feels like an actual movie, and I love that. The action, once the rival comes back and becomes the rival again, the action between Barry and the rival is awesome. The fight is really good, and the experience of watching is awesome. The main villain that we find out in Alchemy, I don't really care for, but I will admit it's pretty cool to see Tobin Bell come up and do the voice of Alchemy. I mean, like, in general, I don't know why CW or The Flash seems to find it necessary to get, like, iconic horror actors to voice their villain roles in the Flash, but hey, if it keeps working, I'm okay with it. I mean, like, last season they got Candyman to do Zoom. Now they got Jigsaw fucking to do, you know, Dr. Alchemy. So I'm okay with it. The choice of Dr. Alchemy, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, the rival, he seems to be kind of like a whatever villain at this point in time, and Alchemy seems to be like the true, real main villain at this point in time, of course. And I'm kind of whatever about that. I'm just saying, like, when is Flash going to do Mirror Master? That's the main villain that we should be heading towards, not Dr. Alchemy. I mean, he's like a whatever villain in the comics, but whatever. It is what it is. Disregarding that, Jay Garrick coming back. We got the Jay Garrick cameo, and fuck, it's so cool. It's also nice to see where he kind of lives. Apparently, he's like stuck in this weird 90s timeline, which is his Earth, which I'm okay with. I love the 90s. And to see John Wesley Shipp come back as Jay Garrick kicks the fucking ass out of everything that happens in this episode. I feel like John Wesley Shipp is truly the great father figure / character to give advice to Barry. We got a lot of that in season 1, not so much of that in season 2, and I like the fact that even though Henry Allen is dead, he is gone, Jay Garrick is here to, like, still play that father-esque role for Barry, the same way they kind of do in the comics, where they're both the Flash, but because he's the Golden Age, he kind of gives advice, fatherly advice to his younglings, and I like that. I love the fact that they did that for this episode. The conversation they have about time and choices and what it really means to be a hero, I loved it. It was so good, beautifully written. This episode as a whole was awesome. There's little qualms I had with the changes to the timeline that I felt like could have been completely more drastic and more dramatic, but it is what it is. Everything else was good. Action, cinematics, acting, performances, writing, directing, everything else was solid and awesome. This episode kicked ass. So far, Flash Season 3 is killing it. And if you're not watching, I don't know what else you should be doing, because this is fucking killing it. It's on point and awesome. So my final verdict for the Flash Season 3 Episode 2 has to be a solid 9 out of 10. I loved it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But with all being said, my final verdict stands as a 9 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jox12. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Jox12.